Our gospel passage for today is the Beatitudes. Matthew's version of the Beatitudes is often referred to as the new 10 Commandments, or the cornerstone of the gospel. That being the case, what is a beatitude? To paraphrase from the Dominican scholar Benedict Viviano, a beatitude is an exclamation of congratulations that recognizes an existing state of being blessed. For each of these beatitudes, they do not initially come across as expressing states of being blessed. Yet in each case, they are blessed. Those who are these attributes are blessed through the depth of God's love. Let us reflect on these Beatitudes. 3 of the first 4 Beatitudes are to the poor, the mourners, and those who hunger and thirst. It is to these that Jesus has come. Jesus comes for all of us, yet those who are in need, Jesus reaches out to them in a unique way. And this is a key part of Jesus' mission and a sign of the new era of salvation history. These 3 are blessed because of God's special care for them. This has its roots in the ancient Middle East's belief in the ideal king who will care for the weakest in his kingdom. Jesus' coming fulfills the ideal king. Blessed are the meek. This connects with the already mentioned 3. It is derived from the Psalms, Psalm 37, in which the meek inherit the land and the wicked will be no more. Later in the psalm, in that area, the meek inheriting Psalm 37, verse 11. Then later in the psalm, we read, "The Lord loves justice and will not forsake his faithful ones." For the meek, divine justice will have the last word. For the poor in spirit and those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, there is added spiritual, added divine nature to their state. So firstly, being poor in spirit changes the emphasis from material poverty to personal moral poverty, whereby a person lives humbly and detached from wealth. In the Old Testament and the Gospel, God does not condemn wealth, but warns it can influence a person to turn from God and neglect the poor. Then, to hunger and thirst for righteousness. To do as such is to desire and work for the manifestation of God's kingdom in the here and now. Blessed are the merciful. The merciful refers to forgiving one's neighbor, which includes the poor and one's enemy. Blessed are the pure in heart. The pure in heart has a developed understanding through the Old Testament and New Testament periods. For the Old Testament, there is the understanding of needing to be purified morally and ritually to be pure in heart. Matthew's gospel demonstrates how Jesus develops this further by living justly, fidelity to God's commands, and sincere worship. Blessed are the peacemakers. The peacemaker is another term that develops over the biblical period. In the Old Testament, peace, or shalom, is a state of being that entails one's total well-being. In the case of a king being a person of peace, such peace would come upon the king's subjects, making the king a peacemaker. For Jesus in Matthew's Gospel, a peacemaker is someone who loves his neighbor and is merciful. The last 2 Beatitudes refer to persecution. They speak of the challenges that may be encountered when living the gospel. In such difficulties, a person is blessed. In Matthew, it also reflects the challenges the early Christians encountered in living the gospel. Each of the states of being depicted in the Beatitudes lead to the kingdom of God. And this leads into two dominant themes in Matthew's Beatitudes: the kingdom of God, as mentioned, and justice. All this sets the stage for the Sermon on the Mount, as the Beatitudes are just the beginning of the sermon. The sermon will span 3 chapters in Matthew. Jesus' message in the Sermon on the Mount will build on the Beatitudes with its roots in the Old Testament covenant and be a synthesis of the gospel message. For this Remembrance Day, we remember those who gave their lives in war on behalf of our country and on behalf of justice. It is a time to remember that justice is something that we need to work on in all aspects of our lives, as well as realizing the blessings God bestows. May we be people of the Beatitudes, living as Jesus Christ has called us to be.